Agent Romanoff. You miss me?
Oh yeah, Charles, we got ourselves an X-Men fan.
Captain.
Your Highness.
Captain, big fan, Spider-Man. Hey everyone.
Hey guys, and welcome to 𝗪𝗁𝗁𝗃𝗀𝗀, your #1 source for all things films and movies. And big news if you've been a fan of the Marvel Cinematic Universe and you've been following Black Widow, the whole film process with all of the delays that it had seen featured. As it would turn out earlier today upon recording this video, it seems like Scarlett Johansson and her legal team have now filed a lawsuit against Disney, alleging a breach of contract for the film Black Widow and how the movie was set to release. And with the announcement that Scarlett Johansson would be following through with a lawsuit with Disney, a few hours later, Disney made an official response, actually firing back at Scarlett Johansson. So let's take a closer look at everything that's been going on with this lawsuit so far. Variety magazine actually reported that the lawsuit from Scarlett Johansson claims that Disney falls under breach of contract when contracts were originally signed to make the Black Widow movie with Scarlett Johansson. Marvel Entertainment promised that the film would have an exclusive theatrical release. Now, as we know, with the effects of COVID-19 and all of the delays, Disney opted for doing a joint release, both theatrically and on stream with Disney+. And in the lawsuit, Johansson claims that her salary was partly based on the film box office performance. So by Disney releasing the film and breaking the promise to do an exclusive release theatrically did cut into her overall earnings that were a part of the initial deal. Now, Johansson's suit also alleges that Disney and Marvel did not respond to Johansson's representatives when they attempted to renegotiate her contract after Black Widow's release strategy was adjusted. And all of this definitely took a lot of fans by surprise, coming so shortly after the Black Widow release, especially since Scarlett Johansson was just doing promotional press tours for Black Widow not too long ago. So these allegations definitely have to be for a very significant reason, and obviously the loss in revenue coming directly from Disney Plus's involvement of the release of the movie probably is directly responsible for the massive differences in what the perceived and expected payment would have been. Now, the Walt Disney Company definitely fired some shots back at Scarlett Johansson after the court filing, with Disney going on to say that Scarlett Johansson had a callous disregard for the horrific and prolonged global effects of COVID-19's pandemic. Disney even went on to say there's no merit whatsoever to this filing. They then went on to state that Scarlett Johansson has already received $20 million for her work, and argued that the release of Black Widow on Disney Plus with Premier Access had significantly enhanced her ability to earn additional compensation on top of the $20 million she had received to date, though Disney did not provide any information about whether or not Johansson's pact was renegotiated so that she could share in streaming rental revenue as well as the theatrical released revenue. Now, it does appear that there are reports from sources that are close to Johansson which estimate that the decision to release the film concurrently in both a streaming format and a theatrical release may have actually resulted in a loss of $50 million in bonuses that were supposed to go to Scarlett Johansson, even with the lower amount of traffic that typically would go to theaters during this time. Had the film not released on the streaming service, obviously the box office probably would have performed to at least some extent a bit better and would have resulted in more revenue going to Scarlett Johansson. So this is a very, very unique case, as we don't ever really see actors from the MCU directly going after Disney. And while it's easy to brush off a lot of these stories and topics as millionaires asking for more money, it is very important to understand that when we look at these actors who've contributed years and years to acting in the Marvel Cinematic Universe and have helped build the greater picture of the MCU, a lot of these movie deals involve more than just a straightforward payout. We know Robert Downey Jr. in the past had locked in massive deals with Disney where he would earn a significant portion of box office returns on top of his base salary pay, which already was a very high payout. We're not necessarily taking sides on this, but we wanted to just bring that up just to remind a lot of fans that the type of box office revenue sharing is very common practice in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. At the end of the day though, this is a very interesting lawsuit that is being formed here because it does seem like both parties at least have a decent basis for their explanations as to what is going on with this contract deal and where a breach actually happened. It will be interesting to see if this ends up settling out of court in a silent manner or if this does go further and turn into a court case negotiation. Going up against a massive corporation like Disney can be incredibly intimidating, but also how frustrating could it be if you did in fact expect a much more significant payout, and then when everything that happened globally ended up going on, there were some secret decisions made that ensured that you ended up on the lesser half of the bargain and you got ghosted when you tried to renegotiate. Though if Disney's side of this is accurate and they did in fact pick a release way that benefited Scarlett Johansson in the most way possible, and perhaps there was some factor in how the streaming service contributed to box office sales, maybe that information will come out at a later time, where at that point we wouldn't be surprised if Scarlett Johansson and her team receive a backlash for trying to grab at a higher payout. There's definitely a very mixed conversation that's going on right now, with some fans backing Scarlett Johansson, supporting her, and then there are some vocal critics out there as well who are kind of criticizing Scarlett Johansson for even asking for more money on top of the $20 million that was always guaranteed. We definitely would love to know where you guys stand on this and what your thoughts are on this matter. It's a very complex situation, so let us know what you think in the comments down below. Be sure to subscribe and notifications on for more videos like this uploaded every day of the week. That's it for today though. We'll see you all next time with a brand new video.